Hello, I'm again here testing the meta versus Tino's meta and trying to make as fair as possible. I disable all the doctrines and kind of put similar doctrines in both sides, almost none, and air spirit with no effects. And also I choose for the Japanese this base and for the Chinese this base, and the conflict this time will be on open seas, but since the Japanese have a little disadvantage, I'm going to give them this option that will give you about 100% efficiency, and that will compensate the range of the small fighters. And this time this test is going to be with first with almost 400 from this side using the meta, and then 200 heavy fighters on this side. And then I will repeat the same, but I will log in as Chinese. Then we are going to be playing as Japanese again, but we are going to use the heavy fighter as Japan and the Chinese with the small fighters. And then I will log in as Chinese and will repeat the same. And I find some interesting differences. I think that there is a buff to the player, maybe on the level, but as always the test is going to be until the one side with the heavy fighter loses 19 fighters. And here are the results. When the Japanese have the heavy fighter, Japanese with the heavy fighter, they lost, well, 19, and if we log in as Japan with the heavy fighter, and we log in as Japan, we are playing as Japan, the Japanese lost 19 heavy fighters and the Chinese 49 meta. If we log in as China, the Japanese lost 19 heavy fighter and the Chinese lost 37 meta. And if we give the China the heavy fighters and we log in as China loses 19 heavy fighters and Japan 33. And if we log in as China loses 19 heavy fighters and Japan 43. And I use it here the cost, industrial capacity cost of course of the heavy fighters is always the same, but for the small fighter it varies since it's the changing number. And in the first case the heavy fighter had an advantage of 32%. In the second test it went similar. In the third test it went negative 11, and in the fourth test it went positive 65 in favor of the heavy fighters. So it seems that in all cases except this one, the heavy fighter performed better, but I think that there is a buff to the player, because when we play as Japan with the heavy fighters perform very well, 34, and when we play as China, the simple fighters perform quite well. They went as similar, as good as the Japanese heavy fighter. So I think that the system gives us a buff. And then when we played with China with the heavy fighters and we played as Japan with the small fighter, it did again very well for us. So it's kind of the system is always giving us a buffer. I'm going to check the level in the game. Maybe I'm on easy or something like that, not sure what's happening. But when I play as China with the heavy fighters on the side of China, the difference is abysmal, 67%. So we can say that if we have not included that buff to the player, the advantage will be always on the side again of the heavy fighter. And that's the new test in international water, or not sure if they are international water. No, I think that they are water of China or Korea. And here both planes have kind of same 100% efficiency, so it's super fair test. Thanks, and see you on the next one.